Hi everyone, I'm going to share with you guys about why I teach and why I wanted to become a teacher. My journey had a lot of different stops along the way, but I feel confident that I can say that I have finally found my true calling, teaching. My love for learning and education began many years ago. Growing up, I was always learning new things and reading as many books as I could. My love of reading came from my grandmother and my parents. They taught me at a young age that reading is an important part of our lives. I also loved playing teacher growing up. I would decorate my classroom and teach my stuffed animals. I have also had the unique experience of growing up as a daughter and granddaughter of teachers. I even had my mom as my own fifth grade social studies teacher. Growing up, my mom was able to learn and observe her mother as a teacher, and I had the privilege to also have this same experience with my own mother. I have witnessed firsthand what it takes and what it means to be a wonderful teacher. My mom ultimately was the one that influenced me to become a teacher. Seeing her changing the lives of students and being a mentor to students was something that really stuck with me. Watching her help students along their educational path and play a part in shaping the person they will ultimately become was truly amazing. My parents worked hard to make sure that I had a great education. Education was a huge part of my life because my parents put a huge emphasis on it. I attended a private Episcopalian school, Christ Church Episcopal School, for elementary, middle, and high school. Christ Church allowed me to have many different opportunities in the classroom. My teachers constantly challenged me to think outside the box and learn in many different ways. I was also able to have many different opportunities to learn and grow as a person outside of the classroom. One opportunity that I had all throughout high school was volunteering at an organization called Youth Base. I believe that this is where my passion began for helping others. During my experience volunteering at Youth Base, I witnessed many children who had an enthusiastic desire and thirst for knowledge. At Youth Base, I provided tutoring to children who were considered at or below the poverty line. I helped elementary and middle school children with their homework in every subject. I also would work with them on their reading skills. I was able to show my children that learning can be fun. I watched them grow, get frustrated, get excited, and learn new things. While I was at Youth Base, I was the happiest I had ever been. Those moments are something that I will treasure for a lifetime. That experience gave me a deeper look into the education system. While volunteering at Youth Base, I had a variety of different students, but there was one student that I particularly loved to work with. He was a fifth grader with a hard home life and never really enjoyed learning. The first time I sat down with him at the beginning of the year, I asked him a series of questions about his past educational experiences. He was very disengaged and usually only gave one word answers. I was struggling to get him to open up to me. I really didn't know what to do. I talked to my grandmother and my mom about this student and asked if they had ever experienced something like this in their own classroom. They gave me a couple of pointers that really helped. I ended up finding out that he loved football, and while I was teaching him, I tried to make connections back to football any way I could. He finally started opening up to me and was getting better grades and becoming more engaged in his classroom and also in our tutoring lesson. By the end of the year, he went from a very disengaged student to a straight A student. He wrote me a letter at the end of the year saying that because of me, he learned that learning can be fun and engaging. He also said that he was grateful that I always communicated with him how much faith I had in him. He said that he needed to hear that at times. At the end of the letter, he wrote that I was much more than a tutor to him. I was someone he could turn to when he was struggling not just in the classroom. He felt that he could always come to me no matter what. It is these experiences that I want in my future classroom. I want nothing more than my students to feel the way that this student did. I want my students to know that learning can be fun. I want them to know that if they are struggling, they can always come to me. As I said earlier, my parents valued education and worked hard for me to have the best education possible. For undergrad, I attended a small liberal arts school, Wofford College, in Spartanburg, South Carolina. At Wofford, I was able to explore many different subjects and careers. Because I was able to explore many different subject areas, my future career paths changed a lot. I ended up deciding on business economics, hoping to go into the field of marketing. However, education was always on the back of my mind. Wofford had just gotten rid of their education major, so at that point I realized that it was meant to be for me to do business economics. My senior year did not end like I thought it would. We were sent home because of the coronavirus, and I was never able to graduate and celebrate my accomplishments. I just had a negative attitude towards everything at this point. I searched for many marketing jobs and just never found one that was appealing. It was challenging and a stressful time looking for jobs during a pandemic and realizing that this was not my true passion. One night, I talked to my parents and asked them what they thought about me going back to school. Their immediate reaction was confusion because they thought I loved marketing. However, I told them I wanted to pursue my master's in education, and they immediately saw me fitting in perfectly. So I applied to schools and ultimately decided on the University of Georgia. I know it is cliche, but it is truly the best decision I have ever made. Although it was a very quick decision to apply, I never had a doubt in my mind that it wasn't the right fit for me. I have always loved helping others reach their full potential, so I think that education is the perfect field for me to be in. I hope that throughout graduate school, I can obtain the resources that will make my classroom the best it can be and allow my students to have an educational experience they will remember for the rest of their lives. I want to be a middle grades teacher because I strongly feel that these years are such an important time in young adolescents' lives. As an educator, I want to play an important role in helping remove the stigma that some students get surrounding education. I am going to create an environment where my students know that it's okay to take risks and that mistakes do happen. I want my students to know that I am approachable and that I will always be there to help them succeed. My goal will be to help each child, no matter their background or learning style, to reach his or her full potential and to make my lessons fun and engaging. Teaching is such a rewarding job and is one of the most important professions in modern society. Teachers have the opportunity to profoundly impact the lives of children and to mold future generations. I hope that I can make a profound impact on my students' lives just as my teachers made such a huge impact on me and the career path that I chose to pursue.